let's talk about some functions inserting and some peculiarities with lists that occur when you do inserting. So the function we'll be working with is the length function. Honestly speaking, there isn't much doing with lists other than just uh, having them to store maybe as a package, maybe storing some functions, constants that you might want to use, and otherwise there are not that many applications of them. So if we have our length here, we can find that the length of our grades is 8. If we do the same function on our list though, we can find that our length of the list is 3. We have added grades, selection, warehouse too. The next thing we'll be working on is the inserting, and the inserting is actually a little different. So if we do something like sum list and we do list and we put together our grades and put the previous version of sum list, and then I'll do an execution of sum list, you can see what the output is. The output is our grades are first here. This is acting as the first element, and then this is the second element. So what has happened is it's not appended our grades onto the sum list. So instead of having, say, 3 of these, we would have 4 of these elements. That's not what has happened. We have created a new list called sum list, which is a composition of the vector grades, which is our first element, and then our sum list, which is our second element in this overall list, and inside that we have 1, 2, and 3 other elements. That's not what we were looking for. We were looking to have 4 elements overall, and in order to get something like that, we have to actually convert our grades to a list. So if we do grades and if we convert that to a list, and if we output grades, let's do an output of grades. This is our list grades. Now if we again execute our sum list as before, take a look at our sum list. This is our normal sum list, and now let's do an append. So we'll use something called an append function, and we'll do new list, and this is going to be the appending of sum list, which is the 4 element list, and it's going to have the grades, which is another list that we created. So if we do an execution of this, and if we do an execution of new list, you can see what has happened is we have 1 element, we have second element, third element, and now a 4th element down here, which is exactly what we were looking for. So that's how the slightly convoluted insertion of elements occurs in R. And you can also do a removal of elements by doing the subsetting, as we discussed in the previous few lectures. So thank you for joining me on this lecture on functions and insertion, and this will be the last lecture on this series on lists. And with that, let's move on to the next one.